Don't change jobs without asking yourself this question. The question I want you to ask yourself is, what part of your current dissatisfaction is coming from the job? And what part of your current dissatisfaction is coming from your own mental operating model? Most people assume that 80 to 100% of their current dissatisfaction is coming from their job. They think they're unhappy because of the boss that they can't seem to impress, or the deadlines that force them to work around the clock, or the boring topics that they just don't care about, or the annoying conflicts that make it hard to get things done. And people assume that if they just shake things up with a new job, things will be much, much better. But it is very important to do the following analysis. Are you unhappy because of the job, because of the boss that you can't seem to impress? That's a job problem. Or are you unhappy because your brain is anchoring to external validation instead of anchoring to its own internal authority? That's a mental operating model problem. Are you unhappy because of the tight deadlines and the long hours? That's a job problem. Or are you unhappy because your brain always tells you you haven't done enough and it keeps urging you to work and work and work until you drop from exhaustion? That is a mental operating model problem. Are you unhappy because of the boring topics that you just don't care about? That's a job problem. Or are you unhappy because you're not actively connecting the work in front of you to your larger goals and purpose and impact? That is a mental operating model problem. Are you unhappy because of the annoying conflicts that make it hard to get things done? That's a job problem. Or are you unhappy because interpersonal conflict puts you into fight or flight and you're not able to calmly and effectively problem solve in those situations? That is a mental operating problem. And I'm going to tell you right now, it is almost always a little bit of both. So I am not saying that you have to stay at your job and only fix the mental side of things. I just want you to be aware of what part of your unhappiness is being created by your situation and what part of your unhappiness is being created by your own habitual way of operating, so that you can effectively devise a strategy that tackles both sides of the equation. And this is exactly what I help my clients do. Because the last thing I want for you is for you to change jobs and then realize that you brought half your problems with you. I have been in that position too many times myself, and I can tell you from experience, it is pretty freaking annoying to go through all the upheaval of recruiting and interviewing and onboarding and getting up to speed at a new job, only to find yourself 3 months in feeling almost exactly like how you were feeling in your old job. So let's get ahead of that problem, because your happiness and fulfillment in your career doesn't just affect you. It affects your family, your friends, your spouse, your children, your colleagues, your community, and everyone you come into contact with on a day-to-day basis. When you spend every day at work in flow, fulfilled, connected to your purpose, learning and growing in a fun way, and feeling deeply satisfied with yourself and your own progress, that spills over into every other part of your life and every other person you come into contact with. And when you spend every day at work, stressed out, disillusioned, disconnected, learning and growing at gunpoint, and always dissatisfied with yourself and your own progress, that also spills over into every other part of your life and every other person that you come into contact with. So I want you to give yourself the gift of getting this right. Come talk to me and let's nail your next step, inside and out. The link to book a free consult call is above, or if you're listening on Instagram, that link is in my bio.